So yesterday I was asked by one of my clients why certain salespeople are able to, consistently pick themselves up after a bad day or a bad week or a bad month and consistently produce high quality results, and other salespeople that experience a tough day or a bad call or a bad month, let it get to them. Like, why is it that everyone is given the same level of training, the same level of material, and you could apply this to anything, to any business or any sport or any endeavor. Why is it that if everyone in a team is given the same level of training, the same level of communication, skills, support, the same material and the same modules to study, that some are able to create disproportionate results with that material and others are not able to? The reason for that is something called a self-image. Now, a self-image was popularized and really introduced by Maxwell Maltz, who's a very famous plastic surgeon who wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. And Maxwell Maltz said that, he noticed that through the patients that he was treating and healing, these facial disfigurations and defects, he noticed that after certain patients had their scars removed and their faces restored to their natural beauty, that they became really gregarious and outgoing and confident and radiant. And others who had the same procedure conducted, they had the scars removed, like physically, objectively, there were no scars left, still continued to feel ugly and to feel timid and down on themselves. So what Maxwell Maltz postulated was that we as human beings have two images: one that we project externally, right, the one that people can see, the physical image, and one that we hold of ourselves in our subconscious minds. And it is the number one driving factor for all of our thinking, beliefs, and behavior. How we see ourselves and how we feel about ourselves will ultimately determine the thoughts that we have on a moment-by-moment basis, the beliefs that shape our worldview, and the actions that we take and the habits that we build. That is constantly in line with that image that we have of ourselves. And I'll tell you a really great example, very personal example. When I was caught in a very vicious cycle of substance abuse and really, compromising myself and my well-being week in, week out, working really, really hard in workplaces that, weren't right for me, abusing my mind and my body with substances and alcohol and partying. I had a really, really poor self-image. The image that I had of myself was one of a degenerate, one of a, just like a hopeless, desperate, unhinged freak, to be honest with you. Now, I wasn't able to go on to, become a leader and an entrepreneur and a mental health advocate, change my identity completely until I was able to actually change the image that I had of myself. And if you start to think about it, like, the self-image is kind of like a thermostat, and your results in life are like the thermometer. So again, I just want to share with you examples. I want to share with you this kind of framework just to kind of bring this to life. If you think about the temperature in the room, right, and it's summer now in Australia, in Melbourne, where I'm having this conversation to you from, and it's very hot. It's 30, 35, 40 degrees Celsius most days. So if it's that hot and you want to bring the temperature down inside the home, and it's currently at about, let's say, 26 degrees, you would take the thermostat and you would bring it to, 20 or 19 degrees if you wanted to make it cooler. You wouldn't go to the thermometer. The thermometer tells you how hot the temperature is in the room, right? It would be insane to try and control the temperature from your thermometer, right? You go to the thermostat and you control the temperature. And so it's a, extreme example, but the truth is when we experience poor results in our life, right? Like in the salesperson example that this gentleman asked me a question about, not getting the certain number of sales that they would like, feeling really down and out on themselves, not having as much money in their bank account, not living in a fit, strong and healthy body, not experiencing, a loving, healthy, compassionate relationship. And they're trying to fix and fixate on these things, right? Instead of, they're trying to fixate on the thermometer to try and change these things instead of going to the root cause of their results, which is their self-image. How you think and how you feel about yourself will ultimately determine the thoughts that you have on a moment-by-moment basis, the beliefs that shape your worldview, and the actions that you take. And those actions then produce your results. So instead of trying to fixate on the external, go to your self-image and acknowledge that if I am seeing a result that I don't prefer, then that is a physical manifestation of how I feel about myself. So I would encourage you, if we were working together, to go out and write and articulate exactly how your self-image is currently set by looking at your results and establishing, using David's example, if I am burning myself out, feeling really shit about myself, constantly living with headaches, constantly, feeling addicted to substances, then the image that I have of myself is I am an addictive, degenerate, desperate, hopeless, workaholic, and freak, right? It's not very pretty. It's pretty confronting, right? It's pretty confronting. However, once you've done that, you have an opportunity to change your self-image. How do I want to be? How do I want to see myself? How do I want to feel about myself? Well, I want to be a thought leader in the mental health space. I want to be responsible for changing and impacting the lives of countless people. I want to lead a team of people, and I want to inspire and empower them to become better versions of themselves. This is how I want to see myself. Right? And you get into a habit and a practice of consistently impressing that upon your subconscious mind. We don't have enough time to go through all of the different techniques and technologies and strategies that you can implement to actually impress this self-image upon your subconscious mind. But know that when you do, right, and your subconscious mind believes it to be true, it will start influencing the thoughts that you have. You'll be thinking in a more productive, more empowered way. You won't let your results control your thinking, and your beliefs will shift to support the results that you're trying to create, as well as the actions that you're taking that are now in line with your self-image. I highly recommend you check out the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It's a hell of a read. If you've read it, you know it's a must read. If you haven't, you got to read it. And I hope this was helpful for you. So just remember, if you want to change your results, don't focus on changing your results. Change your self-image. Lots of love and have a really beautiful day.